Hello everyone, my name is Aubrey Mainza from the University of Cape Town. I am the consultant for the comminution conferences organized by Minerals Engineering International. And my task today is very simple. It is to give closing remarks and summarize the technical program that we enjoyed during this comminution conference. As we go through this, you will see that this comminution conference had a wealth of papers from a broad range of topics, and it will be beneficial to both designers and operators of comminution circuits. The first day of the conference kicked off with a keynote which was presented by Chris Rue, and in his first keynote he showed that arriving at a process flow sheet to meet the project objectives of being energy efficient is a complex process, and that is why conferences like this are important, because knowledge that is shared can be helpful to both operators and designers of these comminution circuits. And this knowledge can help to deconvolute what is known to be a very complex process. Two things came out of this conference: a recognition that water and energy efficiency were key focus areas in terms of technology development, and also in terms of how we configure the technologies in existing plants. On the first day, there was a focus on energy and also ore breakage characterization, particularly in the first session. There, we saw presentations that looked at predicting energy requirements for both conventional and unusual ores. We also saw the extension of the size-specific energy calculation that was developed by Grant Ballantyne to cover quite a wide range of comminution appliances, and he encouraged practitioners to use this approach, the newer approach to calculating the size-specific energy. And on the first day, breakage characterization methods featured prominently. In there, we saw tests done using the point, compression, and impact load techniques, and then we saw both single and multiple particle breakage featuring. And also, what was interesting in this conference is there's a lot of work that was done to relate breakage characterization test results to mineralogy, which is quite good to see in a comminution conference, that we are looking at the interests that are downstream. On day one, under alternative comminution technologies, the GeoPura, a double wheel breakage tester, was unveiled. And this is a very interesting machine for those who saw the videos, and we are encouraged to look at how we can use this machine to see how we can quicken the testing methodology during our ore characterization tests. And a range of other breakage technologies were actually presented. We also looked at the microwave assisted technology with emphasis on the energy savings if this system and its associated ancillary equipment was applied. We also saw acoustic measurements to characterize grinding and also to assist with stabilization for plants, particularly those that are treating variable meal feeds. We looked at a presentation that assessed the real-time analysis of grinding media behavior in an industrial SAG mill using sensors. This was a very interesting presentation, because sensors that are based on accelerometer for both the mill shell and the grinding media were developed, and if you put these in the mill, they can give you the charge dynamics that you can use to infer the usage of grinding media and its behavior in industrial SAG mills. We had a session which was dedicated to particle size measurements and other measurements that we could use in our systems. Under advancement in particle size measurements, we saw that the particle size control linked to measurements in a hydrocyclone or the cyclone overflow featured, and we also saw the laser sieve, which is used to measure particle size and shape. And interestingly, there was also a presentation on deep learning techniques that have improved accuracy and can easily be integrated into control systems that was presented. So particle size measurements, a key aspect of comminution optimization, has been given a lot of attention in this conference. We moved to day 2, which focused more on computational modeling. This was a very special day for computational modeling, and appropriately it started with a presentation by Professor Paul Cleary and closed with a presentation from Dr. Alex Potapov. In his keynote, Professor Paul Cleary looked at the virtual comminution machine, and a lot of information was presented there. But of particular interest is that a full-scale mill simulation containing millions of particles distributed in various particle size ranges and shapes can be modeled and produce realistic predictions of both the breakage and the flow characteristics in the mill. This is really exciting because we can now start using computational tools to design grinding mills with insights on how it can operate from the breakage and flow perspective. A number of computational models for various comminution equipment were actually presented during this conference, and the computational methods covered included discrete element methods and discrete element methods in combination with either SPH or CFD. And the equipment that was considered in terms of modeling included crushers, high pressure grinding rolls, ball mills, steered media detritus, hammer mills, and a wide range, including tower mills and so forth. I think all in all, computational modeling has matured to an extent that it can be used by practitioners to look at things like wear, breakage, and flow in comminution systems. On day 2, we had a panel discussion, and that panel discussion considered a very interesting theme. What will comminution look like in 2050? Interesting ideas, mainly on energy, water, and data-driven decision-making, came out from that panel discussion. They also looked at how improved modeling capabilities will be influential in future comminution undertakings. They highlighted 2 areas that will make a significant contribution to future comminution endeavors. One of them was dynamic modeling, and then the other is the development of sensors. The panel was of the view that advanced sensors will provide capabilities that will allow circuits to operate more efficiently. They also discussed a range of issues in the energy sector, and one of the things that came out of that is the role of coal seam gas in the energy sector. Still with the panel discussion, the panel was again of the view that there is great potential and challenges associated with recycling. They looked at recycling as one of the future areas that comminution will make a contribution. However, they were quick to point out that the mix of metals in the feedstock is very difficult to separate. And they also indicated that there is actually the best potential in tailings reprocessing. So the panel was of the view that with the capabilities that we have, we can actually handle tailings processing much easier than we would in the recycling environment. Several technologies were also discussed as part of the deliberations by the panels. One of the things that came out is that the HPGR usage, particularly in dry grinding circuits with air classifiers, it was pointed out that the HPGR operated in conjunction with air classifiers are used in the cement industry to produce a very fine product, and that can happen in our hard ore environment. The triboelectric separation was also mentioned. If you use dry grinding processes, you can use dry separation methods such as the triboelectric separation method. Other alternative methods for comminution were discussed, and those based on micro, electro, and nuclear were actually emphasized in that particular panel discussion. Digital twinning was also considered, and although digital twinning has made a lot of improvements, the panel was of the idea that it does not match the real plant that well because of challenges in limitations with wear prediction, and also it is very difficult to obtain certain measurements that would allow digital twinning to work well. And one example was to know the mineral content of a truck being delivered to the plant. So the constituents of a truck, if they are not known, digital twinning will not mimic what a plant is doing very well. If those measurement capabilities are improved and where prediction is improved, digital twinning may mirror the operation of the plant very well. A number of papers outside the panel in the afternoon were discussed on dynamic and DEM modeling, and those papers included modeling of wear and also looking at integrated circuit simulation that incorporate things like geometallurgy. The third day, the earlier part focused on best practice and course comminution. The day started by a keynote address from John Starkey, who focused on best practice in comminution. It was very clear from his presentation that no improvements in comminution circuits can be realized from advancement in technology without considering best practices. So this is an important area that all of us as researchers, designers, and practitioners should take into account. On the third day, a novel comminution device, the EHPCC, was unveiled by Mike Daniel, and he indicated that shear is a dominant breakage mechanism in this device, and it does not require media, and it also promotes preferential liberation. It would be a very good piece of equipment to look at, particularly in comminution where advancements in technology are very slow. A presentation on using SAG HPGR hybrid circuits was given, and the purpose for this was either to deconstrain the SAG mu or the entire circuit. In that presentation, Dr. Chandramohan highlighted that taking a holistic approach is actually more beneficial when looking at milling circuits. New generation of HPGR for processing hard rock more efficiently were unveiled, and it was interesting to see that this technology is continuously being improved because it has already demonstrated that we can have significant energy savings by applying HPGRs. Challenges of degrading ores versus performance and the conflict that needs to be solved was presented, and in that presentation it was highlighted that technology and the focus on how this technology, modeling, and simulation are applied is extremely important to resolve these conflicts that are encountered. Improving throughput for crushers using simulation, that presentation highlighted that it is important to have a reliable simulator for making any predictions for improvements, particularly on crushers. Then predicting the HPGR operating gap using the piston and die, that presentation showed that you can use actually laboratory methods to infer what would happen to operational HPGRs, and the piston and die with the model that accompanies it would be helpful in predicting the operating gap in industrial. The papers on DEM simulations looking at SAG mill liner wear and also the use of DEM to develop the Anvil hammer mill showed that DEM has actually matured. So DEM can help us to find solutions to some of the challenges that we have faced in comminution for many years. There was a paper presented by Steve Morel using the SAG mill circuit-specific energy parameter for SAG mill selection. This was a very interesting paper. Steve Morel indicated that this parameter that was developed by JK Tech and SMC to compare the A by B in a more meaningful and more linear fashion to see how a SAG mill would respond can actually be used in SAG-mill selection. A very good paper to look at, particularly for those that design milling circuits. There was a range of papers that looked at performance improvements in SAG-mill. One of them looked at the influence of changing mill speed. The other looked at changing from radial to spiral discharge liners, and another looked at optimizing discharge liners for wear. And there was still another paper in this area that looked at optimizing the discharge flow efficiency, and it was indicated that this plays a key role in improving the overall SAG-mill performance. We had a paper that looked at the intelligent optimulator that uses both offline and online models to optimize circuits in an integrated fashion. This paper is also worth looking at. I think it was presented as one of the things that Molycorp does use in their modeling arena. The paper on the effect of pebble crushing on the performance of SAG mills highlighted the importance of pebble crushing in a circuit. The presenter indicated that this can improve circuit performance if carefully tuned in a circuit. The presentation on sizing the SAG mills emphasized the importance of dimensions as well as power draw, and the presenter indicated that these two have a significant impact on the economic outlook of the project. And he encouraged looking at ore hardness testing, particularly looking at the SAG power index or the SAG design testing. The paper that was presented by Brian Loveday looked at the benefits of converting a ball mill in an SABC circuit to a composite mill, mainly taking advantage of the pebbles generated in the SAG mill to act as grinding media downstream. And Rodrigo Carvalho presented the mechanistic SAG mill model. This model combines outputs from DEM to model the mill environment and ore characterization outputs in a population balance framework. And the work he presented showed that this work has actually matured to give realistic predictions of SAG mill performance. Day 4 looked mainly at stirred milling and other technologies, and in that session that looked at stirred milling, it showed that an energy transfer model of stirred mill technologies was developed and it can be used. It takes into account things like grinding media type, size, and also it looks at the feed as well. Advancement in design and operating of gravity mills was considered among the presentations, and the development of stirred media mill technology for coarser feed was again highlighted as a key area of focus. A range of papers looked at media selection, matching the grinding size to media size, and other important design and operating variables for stirred media mills. Peter Rastensky actually in his presentation showed that these stirred media mills are just viscometers on steroids, and he indicated that there are over 11,000 possibilities of impeller design. So it is very important when considering the use of these mills to look at impeller designs and the suspension that they cause in the system. The effect of adding shell liners to a vertical fluidized mill presentation was given by Elisma Ford, and in there she indicated that in some instances adding shell liners improved the energy transfer, and in other instances the improvement was not that significant. Tower mill modeling for tertiary grinding application, that mill model that combines the breakage aspect and also the classification and size specific aspects was presented. It showed a lot of promise for modeling tower mills in this particular. The last session of day 4 had a lot of interesting papers because they focused on the influence of comminution on downstream processes. We had a paper that linked comminution to particle properties and flotation of scheelite. We also had a a paper that presented the Kalala Mill invention, which is a device designed to carry out milling in a flotation cell. It showed that comminution is now focusing more at downstream processes because comminution is essentially there to prepare particles for the recovery processes downstream. And combining comminution principles and mineralogical analysis to produce lime for agriculture purposes in Ethiopia highlighted the importance of putting together a suite of capabilities both in comminution and in process mineralogy to fulfill the requirements in the agriculture sector. So this was a very interesting paper. On the last day of the conference, a paper was presented looking at development of a methodology for reducing the capacity of an SABC circuit so that the plant can operate profitably when there are constraints on the mining side, or they are processing high grade and they have constraints downstream either in the leaching or in the flotation. So how do you reduce the capacity for your circuit so that you can operate profitably? The last paper of the conference compared the performance of a ball mill operated with a great discharge and a ball mill operated with an overflow discharge. The work indicated that a mill operated with a great discharge has superior performance if the tests are carried out at the same throughput and the same ball load. Indeed, this online comminution conference had a wealth of information. I would encourage all of you to take advantage of the presentations that are still online on the portal to go and review them and look at the findings that people came up with in this particular conference. A very good conference indeed. And with those words, I would like to say thank you for attending the conference and see you in 2022 for another wonderful comminution conference. Thank you.